Uncle Mike, Edwin, did y'all have anything to say about the Feast of Booths, the Sukkot?
You just said one word. You just yes, one word you just mentioned in your last sentence was rejoice. And
Amen.
when I think about the word celebrate, I think rejoicing. And when you're rejoicing, you're celebrating. When you rejoice, you're having joy about something. You're glad about something. You're happy. You want to, you know, express it. And so in your expression, you may sing or dance or whatever. And and so I was looking here in the concordance, and there's so many um, lines under rejoice. For example, it says one says, "If you love me, you will rejoice," and that's in John 14:24. And he says, "Rejoice," and then Psalms 89:1, "Rejoice in the Lord, O ye righteous." Um, and then 21, "For our hearts shall rejoice in Him." And then in 55:9 it says, "Lord, it shall rejoice, in His salvation." And it just keeps on talking about rejoicing in the Lord, in His salvation, because you know we have a permanent you know reason to celebrate. The sports in the world, they have sports they may rejoice when they win a World Series or Super Bowl. We just had the Super Bowl
Yeah.
last week, and the people were out in the street in Philadelphia just
Yeah,
rejoicing.
they were.
And God saying that's just how we should be every day, because we got such a great, a better hope, a better thing to rejoice on, because we have salvation, because we have Him, we have everlasting life, we have peace with God, we have eternity, we have the Almighty. We under and that don't call for no you know one time celebration. Because we should be rejoicing every day. You know what I'm saying? Even when we don't feel like it, we should have some joy, because the joy, he says, the joy of the Lord is your strength. Because then when you take your mind off those things that might be weighing you down, and you think about the things that are positive, I mean the things that are up with the Lord, that should make you, you know what I'm saying? Because it's just rejoicing. When you was talking about celebrating, the feast is to remind the people to rejoice always in the Lord. To rejoice, um, for salvation, for the Lord, for and just to be glad. Because people don't want to see people that say they saved. Nobody wants to be around a glutton person, or
Hmm.
glutton, when they want to see some joy. I know some people that have so much joy in the Lord, and I said, "Wow, Lord, look at the joy." The joy, because it's real. And Jesus said, "Well, the joy that was set before him, he endured." And I'm sure when he walked, the earth with his disciples, as he was, discipling them, and he was teaching, they saw the joy, because that's why the publicans and the what do you call it, Pharisees, they thought he was, how can he be sitting with the drunkards, because they were jealous of the joy,
Yep.
that he was, he just enjoyed being around his creation, his people, and he wanted to let them know that God didn't intend for you to walk in sadness or hopelessness or whatever. When he first created and he put us in the garden, you know, and he want to bring us back to that place of permanent joy. And in heaven, it's going to be, you know, full of joy, full of peace and joy, you know, and that's a reason that for us to celebrate here, because we know we got a better home. It might be, we may not have things we think we would need or want, but we have better. We have a home in glory. We're going to a place. It's like when you when you when you were a kid and you got closer to Christmas. In the January it wasn't you got past Christmas, and now it's June, and I was thinking, wow, I think I'm gonna tell my mother I want that bazooka gun
Mm-hmm.
for Christmas. And so I tell her in June, and I'm happy because I told her, and she said, okay. And then next, it's September, October, and the closer I get happier because, um, it's getting closer to Christmas for that thing I asked for my present. And then when it gets here, I'm so elated. But with the Lord, we should be, we here now, now we see through a glass darkly, but then we shall see him as he is, and we have joy, but each day, we should rejoice even more because we're closer today than we were yesterday, the salvation, to the redemption of the Lord, rather. But I'm just going on. But just rejoice is the word that when I think about celebrating, because that's what the Lord said. Because people don't want to be around. So when people see the joy of the Lord in us, you know, and you know how you when we experience it, sometimes we have that joy, and if you just can't help but for laughing and
Right.
feeling good, and
Yeah.
and especially when you're in a service and you praising God and you just feel His presence and you gotta dance, you
Mm-hmm.
and then when we do that, guess what? He rejoices over us. The Bible say,
Yep.
He celebrate over us. And I'm gonna stop right there because I
Now I don't know about another thing about the feast. It's a celebration. It's rejoicing, but it's also faith. In order,
yeah
in order to have to celebrate God, you gotta have faith, some kind of faith, small faith, big faith, but faith is also involved.
yeah
You gotta have the Israelites had faith. Whatever when God brought them out of Egypt and going through the wilderness, they had that faith. You know that God was gonna bring them through, and He did. Now they did some things wrong. It's true. Some people, some of them did do things wrong, but it also involves faith. So the Feast of Tabernacles is about celebration, about rejoicing, and it's also about faith. Because you gotta have some kind of faith ought to rejoice and give thanks. Your faith is like you could say your faith is like the thing that gets it all started. You gotta have faith to change. You gotta have faith to receive Jesus Christ as Lord and Savior. It starts with faith.
yeah
Uh, uh,
I can
uh,
see that because
well,
you could be going through something and it could be, but then you start to rejoice because your faith kicks in and say, "Oh, I know it's going to be all right," because
Yeah.
the Lord has said He never leave me or forsake me, and He'll always deliver. And 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 that's why people in the world they could see you going through things that they were going through, and it don't look like it bothered you. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Mm-hmm.
So you're not going to commit suicide if you're a true believer. You're not going to, saying, go out and get drunk. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because the Lord is your strength and your peace and your joy. You know. Go ahead, Edwin. I'm sorry.
very good. Um, well, along with everything else y'all said, to bring up, um, like Leviticus, it talks about how the feast was to basically show gratitude for when they were in the wilderness. The Lord, supplied booths, for them to live in the wilderness. Um, so I would think the main or one of the main things of this feast is gratitude. It's just being grateful
Yeah.
for what the Lord supplied. Um, and I don't know if y'all ever done this, but like just thank the Lord for the body that you're in,
Yeah.
because it's a chance of
Yeah.
salvation. we're like those were temporary tabernacles or booths, temporary dwelling places, and our bodies are temporary dwelling places. You know what I'm saying? And it's just and it gave us a chance at salvation. I don't know what I was before I came down. Before I was in this world. But you had some that that fell. You have some that went. You have some that So it's this body that I'm in, and the soul that dwells in this body. It was a chance at salvation. It was a chance to be a part of the bride, and that's why you know we should be grateful every single day. Um, they celebrated it for a week, right?
Mm-hmm.
And a week is 7 days, right? And in the Hebrew mindset, every um everything means something. You know what I mean by that? Like, so, like, for instance, seven just means, like, to us in English, seven things or something like that. But seven in the Jewish mindset is like completion or perfection, right? So, like, if you look at it and say, to be grateful for the Lord providing us this earthly tabernacle, our souls, that He may be able to redeem us and be a part of His bride. Because seven can mean completion. It can mean like your complete days, meaning like the rest of your days. You know what I'm saying? You're
Mm-hmm.
gonna be grateful for this. You're gonna be reminded of the salvation that the Lord gave you. The opportunity to be saved. Like um,
Yeah.
and another thing is like when you look at the Feast of Tabernacles, there's a holiday right after this, right? Like, I mean, like the next day, right? So the eighth day, right, of this. And I was actually floored when I was reading up on this. And the on the eighth day, they it's called the Hoshiana Rabbah, right? And what that means is the Great Hosanna. So, like, when you look at, and a lot of people say that we've been like time itself, like we've probably only been around for, I guess, 6,000 years or whatever it was. But at the end of all things, and eight it means a new beginning in Hebrew. So at the end of all things, for whatever time it was, I don't know how much it is right now, but just at the end of time, at the end of all these things, it's gonna be a great Hosanna. It's gonna be all of us in heaven with the Lord. It's gonna be just an amazing, I can't even say time because it's not gonna be no time. It's just gonna be amazing. It's gonna be things that I can't even describe in words what it's gonna be. You know what I'm saying? And it's just it's like, so you go and you get saved, and then you're grateful and thankful and giving the Lord thanksgiving and all of the rest of your days, and at the end of your days there start this new beginning
That's
that
good.
will never end. A great Hosanna, a great salvation from
Yeah.
these earthly temporary
Yeah.
tabernacles.